Love, a topic that we all have experienced at least once, but do you really understand it? Why are some relationships strong, while others are easily broken? Have you ever wondered why some women effortlessly capture the attention of men, without even trying? It's not about perfect looks, flashy clothes, or playing games. It's about something deeper. Something unspoken. These women walk into a room and instantly shift the energy, not because they're loud, but because they're centered. What is it that makes them so magnetic? In this video, we'll uncover the 6 powerful qualities that make a woman truly irresistible, not just for a moment, but in a way that leaves a lasting impression. If you're ready to become that woman, stay with me. Welcome to the channel, Sophia's Knowledge, and my name is Sophia. This is where you will find valuable lessons and secrets to help you build a truly lasting love. In today's video, Sophia will explore with you 6 factors that make you more attractive in the eyes of men. Don't miss out on advice that can change the way you perceive and live in love. You will definitely feel more comfortable when you find a quiet place and put on your headphones. Let yourself relax and be ready to receive the positive messages in today's video. Are you ready to embark on this journey with Sophia? Let's get started together. Number 1. Inner confidence without showing off. There is something profoundly magnetic about a woman who walks into a room and doesn't need to announce her presence. She doesn't speak loudly, doesn't flaunt her beauty, and doesn't seek validation. Yet somehow, all eyes are drawn to her. Why? Because she possesses a quiet, unwavering confidence that radiates from within. This kind of confidence doesn't scream. It whispers, and that whisper is powerful enough to echo in the hearts of those around her. Inner confidence is not about always knowing what to say. It's not about being perfect or having it all figured out. It's about being at peace with who you are. A woman with inner confidence knows her strengths, but she also accepts her flaws. She does not need constant praise to feel valuable, nor does she crumble in the face of criticism. She walks through life with a sense of self-assurance that is not arrogant, but grounded. This confidence comes from within because it is not based on external validation. It doesn't depend on likes, comments, compliments, or attention. A confident woman doesn't measure her worth by how many men desire her or how many followers she has online. Instead, she measures her worth by how deeply she honors herself. She knows that she is worthy, not because others say so, but because she believes so. Men are incredibly drawn to this kind of woman, even if they can't articulate why. It's not her beauty alone that captivates them, it's her energy. There is an ease to her presence. She doesn't chase, she doesn't beg, and she doesn't compete. She simply exists in her truth. That's what makes her irresistible. Her confidence doesn't create pressure. It creates safety, curiosity, and intrigue. One of the most attractive qualities of inner confidence is the ability to be unaffected by comparison. A woman who is confident from within does not feel the need to compete with other women. She celebrates them. She knows that someone else's beauty or success does not diminish her own. This makes her rare, and rare is always attractive. She is not afraid of other women shining because she is already standing in her own light. Another powerful trait of inner confidence is emotional control. A woman who is truly confident doesn't react to everything. She knows that not every opinion needs a response. Not every slight deserves her energy. She doesn't explain herself unnecessarily, nor does she try to convince others to understand her worth. She has boundaries, and she enforces them not with drama, but with clarity and calmness. This kind of woman also owns her desires. She does not shrink herself to be more palatable. She knows what she wants, and she isn't afraid to ask for it or walk away when it's not aligned. She's not aggressive, but she's direct. She doesn't manipulate to get what she wants. She chooses honesty over games, clarity over confusion. Importantly, inner confidence also comes from self-respect. A woman who respects herself will not allow anyone to treat her poorly. She knows that love is not supposed to hurt, and affection should not be inconsistent. If a man is unsure about her, she becomes sure about herself. She doesn't wait around for breadcrumbs. She walks away from tables where she is no longer being served. This doesn't mean she's cold or unemotional. In fact, she can be incredibly loving and nurturing. But her love is a gift, not a currency. She does not give to earn attention. She gives because she chooses to, and she expects to receive the same depth in return. Her confidence makes her emotionally generous, not emotionally dependent. And what's truly fascinating is that this kind of confidence is quiet. It doesn't look like arrogance or pride. It doesn't boast. It simply is. It's in the way she listens intently when someone speaks. It's in the way she holds eye contact. It's in the way she carries herself, with a posture that says, "I am enough." For men, this creates a different kind of attraction. Not the shallow kind that fades after the thrill is gone, but the deep kind that makes them want to stay. She challenges them without trying to. She makes them want to be better without demanding it. She doesn't just attract them, she inspires them. And perhaps most importantly, her confidence isn't temporary. It doesn't disappear when a man walks away or when life gets hard. It stays. Because it was never about anyone else in the first place. It was built in silence, nurtured by self-love, and refined through her experiences. That kind of confidence is untouchable. So if you want to be more attractive to men, or to anyone, really, start with yourself. Learn to sit with your own silence. Learn to appreciate your own company. Learn to speak kindly to yourself even when no one is watching. Confidence isn't something you perform. It's something you live. And when you truly have it, you won't need to chase anyone. The right people will be drawn to you, simply because you are whole. In a world full of noise, drama, and superficial displays, a woman with deep, quiet confidence will always stand out. Not because she's loud, but because she's real. And real is rare. Everyone has a different perspective, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Leave a comment below and let's discuss. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to join me in the next videos. Let's continue together. Number 2. Being mysterious and unpredictable. There's something undeniably captivating about mystery. It's not loud, it's not flashy, and yet, it draws people in like gravity. A mysterious woman doesn't reveal everything about herself too soon. She doesn't lay all her cards on the table. And that's what makes men want to know more. The more they think they've figured her out, the more layers they discover. She becomes a puzzle they want to solve, a story they want to read until the very last page. Being mysterious doesn't mean being distant or playing games. It's about maintaining a sense of intrigue. It's about not always being available, not always saying yes, and not sharing every single detail of your life. It's about giving just enough to spark curiosity, but never too much to kill it. In a world where everything is shared instantly, being a little hard to read becomes your superpower. Unpredictability plays a crucial role in this. When a woman is predictable, it's easy for others to take her for granted. If she always replies immediately, always says yes to plans, always adjusts her schedule for others, she becomes easy to access. And what is easy to access is often undervalued. But when you mix a little unpredictability into the equation, you create excitement. You bring in the element of surprise, and that is what keeps the connection alive. A woman who is mysterious knows how to balance being present with being unavailable. She doesn't vanish or ghost people. Instead, she shows up with intention and leaves with elegance. She values her time and energy, and she makes others respect it, too. When she's with someone, she's fully there. But when she's away, she's not constantly seeking attention. This creates a magnetic rhythm of presence and absence that keeps men intrigued. Men are naturally wired to pursue. They enjoy the chase, not because they want to play games, but because pursuit is tied to purpose. When something feels too easily obtained, it often feels less meaningful. But when a woman holds back just enough, she allows a man the space to step forward. She lets him wonder. She gives him a reason to reach out. And when he does, it feels like he earned something real. Being unpredictable doesn't mean being inconsistent in your values or intentions. It means you have a life outside of any man, and you're not afraid to prioritize it. You might cancel a date because you're tired. You might not respond right away because you're reading a book or enjoying your solitude. These small actions communicate something powerful. You are not revolving around anyone. You are grounded in your own world, and any man who wants to be part of it must add to it, not consume it. There's also mystery in silence. You don't always need to explain yourself. You don't always need to justify your feelings or share every thought. A woman who can sit in silence without discomfort is a woman who commands presence. Men notice that. They feel the difference. While others may overshare or seek validation through constant communication, a mysterious woman chooses her words with intention. She speaks with meaning, and her silence holds just as much weight as her voice. Mystery is also about emotional depth. You don't need to expose every scar, every heartbreak, or every vulnerability right away. When you reveal too much too soon, you rob the other person of the chance to truly earn your trust. But when you let them in slowly, piece by piece, it creates emotional tension. It builds a stronger foundation. It shows that you don't give your heart easily, and that makes it even more valuable. Unpredictability can also show up in how you express affection. Sometimes, you're sweet and nurturing. Other times, you're bold and independent. You don't stick to one pattern. You keep evolving. You keep growing. You are dynamic. And men who are emotionally mature find this incredibly appealing. It means they can never get bored with you, because you are always becoming more of yourself. Importantly, being mysterious does not mean being fake. It's not about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about knowing when to share and when to hold back. It's about being real, but not overly exposed. Think of it like a beautiful novel. If every twist and climax were revealed in the first chapter, no one would want to keep reading. But if each page gives a little more while leaving just enough unsaid, readers are hooked until the very end. Mystery makes people imagine. And imagination is a powerful form of attraction. When a man is unsure about what you'll say next, what you'll do next, or how you truly feel, it keeps him emotionally invested. It keeps him thinking about you long after the conversation ends. Not because you were trying to manipulate him, but because you were simply being true to your layered, fascinating self. The truth is, you don't need to be loud or dramatic to be unforgettable. You just need to be authentic while maintaining your boundaries. You need to let curiosity do its magic. When a man knows that he doesn't fully have you, he will continue to try. And that's not a game. That's the nature of desire. We crave what is not easily claimed. So, stay mysterious. Stay unpredictable. Let your silence speak volumes. Let your absence be noticed. Let your independence remind him that you are whole, with or without him. Because when you do, you don't just become attractive. You become unforgettable. And unforgettable women are never forgotten. If you are still watching the video, do not hesitate to comment continue. Leave your thoughts and questions below in the comment section. I look forward to hearing your opinions, and do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel so that Sophia has more motivation to create more good and meaningful videos. Let's continue together. Number 3. Graceful communication, a blend of honesty and softness. The way a woman communicates can be one of the most powerful elements of her charm. It's not just about what she says, but how she says it. A woman who knows how to express herself with clarity and grace holds a quiet power that leaves a lasting impression. She doesn't need to raise her voice to be heard. She doesn't need to argue to prove a point. Her words carry weight because they come from a place of self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Graceful communication is a balance between honesty and gentleness, directness and compassion. It's the ability to say what needs to be said without hurting others. It's the wisdom to listen deeply before responding. It's knowing that timing and tone can often matter more than the message itself. Men are deeply drawn to women who can speak their truth without turning it into a battle. When you're able to express disappointment, disagreement, or boundaries without aggression or blame, you create a space where understanding can grow. You allow him to feel safe, even when the conversation is uncomfortable. That safety becomes the foundation for emotional intimacy. A woman who communicates gracefully doesn't shy away from honesty. She doesn't sugarcoat the truth to avoid tension. But she also doesn't weaponize the truth to win arguments. Instead, she speaks from a place of authenticity. She says what she means, and she means what she says. There's no manipulation. No mind games. Just truth, delivered with intention and care. This kind of communication builds trust. A man who knows you will speak your mind with kindness will feel free to do the same. He won't walk on eggshells around you. He won't feel the need to guess your feelings or decode your silence. He'll know that when you speak, it's sincere. And that certainty is incredibly attractive. One of the hallmarks of graceful communication is the ability to pause. A graceful woman doesn't react impulsively. She takes a breath before she responds. She reflects on her emotions instead of letting them control her. This pause creates space for wisdom to step in. It turns potential conflict into connection. It turns misunderstanding into deeper understanding. Listening is another powerful part of graceful communication. Many people listen to reply. But a graceful communicator listens to understand. She doesn't interrupt. She doesn't dismiss. She makes the other person feel seen and heard. And when a man feels truly listened to, he begins to open up in ways he never has before. He begins to trust, not just her, but himself in her presence. Graceful communication is also nonverbal. It's in the way she makes eye contact. The softness in her voice. The calm in her gestures. She doesn't need to dominate the conversation to have influence. Her presence does half the talking. Her energy communicates openness, strength, and respect all at once. This doesn't mean she avoids conflict. On the contrary, a woman who communicates with grace is willing to address issues, but she does it in a way that invites solutions, not blame. She doesn't label or attack. She focuses on feelings and needs. She might say, "I felt hurt when that happened," instead of "you always do this." This shift in language changes everything. It turns confrontation into collaboration. A graceful woman also knows when not to speak. She doesn't use words to fill silence out of fear. She understands that silence can be powerful, too. It can create reflection, space, and depth. Not every emotion needs to be narrated. Not every moment needs to be explained. Sometimes, just being present is more powerful than anything that could be said. Men are often overwhelmed by emotional intensity, not because they lack depth, but because they're not always taught how to navigate it. A woman who can communicate her feelings with calmness and clarity becomes a safe harbor. She gives him the gift of emotional safety, which is rare and priceless. And in return, she earns his admiration, respect, and loyalty. Graceful communication also means knowing the difference between assertiveness and aggression. Assertiveness is rooted in self-respect. It's the ability to speak up without stepping on others. A graceful woman doesn't apologize for her needs. She doesn't shrink to avoid conflict. But she also doesn't bulldoze others to be heard. She finds the middle ground, firm but fair, strong but sensitive. In a world full of noise, criticism, and reactive dialogue, a woman who communicates with grace becomes unforgettable. She brings peace into conversations. She brings depth into small talk. She turns arguments into opportunities for growth. She becomes someone who others feel better after speaking to. So if you want to deepen your connections, especially with men, start by mastering your communication. Speak truthfully, but with kindness. Set boundaries, but without hostility. Share your emotions, but don't let them drown the message. Choose your words like you're planting seeds, because they will grow into either connection or distance. And above all, remember this: communication isn't just a skill. It's a reflection of your inner world. The more peace, confidence, and clarity you cultivate within yourself, the more gracefully you will express it outward. And when you do, your words will not just be heard, they will be felt. A woman who communicates with grace doesn't just attract attention. She earns respect. And respect is the foundation of lasting love. Number 4. Taking care of yourself and not relying on anyone else. There is a rare kind of power in a woman who knows how to take care of herself. Not because she has to, but because she chooses to. She doesn't wait for someone to rescue her. She doesn't depend on others to make her feel complete. She understands that self-care isn't selfish, it's a sacred responsibility. And through this independence, she becomes magnetic in a way that few can resist. A woman who takes care of herself commands respect. She knows that her emotional well-being, physical health, and mental clarity are not optional luxuries, they are essential. She listens to her body. She honors her feelings. She sets boundaries without guilt. Her self-worth is not tied to how much she gives to others, but how deeply she gives to herself first. Men are naturally drawn to women who know how to care for themselves. Not because they are unattainable, but because they are whole. There is a sense of stability, peace, and strength that radiates from a woman who does not need anyone to complete her. When she welcomes someone into her life, it's not from lack, it's from overflow. She invites love, not because she's empty, but because she's full. This kind of woman doesn't expect others to fix her problems. She takes responsibility for her own healing. She doesn't blame her past for her present. Instead, she learns from it, grows through it, and moves forward with grace. Her resilience is not loud, but steady. Her strength is not showy, but unshakable. She also takes care of herself financially. She may not be rich, but she is resourceful. She knows how to manage her money, save for the future, and make smart decisions. She doesn't depend on a man's wallet to feel secure. She builds her own foundation. And when she chooses to share her life with someone, it's not out of need, it's out of desire. Emotionally, she is grounded. She knows how to soothe herself when she's hurt. She doesn't fall apart every time something goes wrong. She allows herself to feel, but she doesn't get stuck in the pain. She knows that emotions are visitors, not permanent residents. This emotional maturity makes her a calming presence. A man doesn't feel drained by her. He feels supported, inspired, and uplifted. Taking care of herself also means she prioritizes her passions. She makes time for the things that light her up. Whether it's painting, dancing, building a business, or simply reading a book, she creates space for joy. She understands that happiness isn't something that comes from another person. It comes from within. And she's not waiting for someone else to give it to her. Physically, she respects her body. Not because she wants to look good for anyone else, but because she values herself. She nourishes herself with healthy food, movement, and rest. She treats her body like a home, not a decoration. And that self-respect shows in the way she carries herself, walks into a room, and handles challenges. When a man sees a woman like this, he recognizes something rare. He doesn't see a damsel in distress. He sees a queen who knows her worth. He sees someone who can stand on her own, but who is still soft enough to love. She doesn't chase. She doesn't cling. She doesn't wait by the phone. Because she's too busy living her life with purpose and passion. This doesn't mean she's closed off or cold. In fact, she's more open to love because she doesn't fear being alone. She's not desperate for attention, so she can love freely. She doesn't try to control or possess, because she's secure within herself. Her love is a gift, not a demand. She also knows when to say no. She doesn't overextend herself to be liked. She doesn't sacrifice her peace to gain approval. If something doesn't feel right, she walks away. Not because she's arrogant, but because she has standards. And she knows that the right people will rise to meet them. Her independence is not a wall, it's a filter. It protects her from energy that isn't aligned. It keeps her focused on what matters. It doesn't push love away. It attracts the kind of love that is respectful, deep, and lasting. What's most attractive about a woman who takes care of herself is that she makes you want to do the same. Her presence challenges others to rise, to grow, to become better. Because she sets the example. She's not waiting for someone to lead her. She leads herself. And that leadership is not about power, it's about self-respect. In a world where many look outward for validation, she looks inward. She doesn't need constant reassurance. She gives herself the love she used to beg for. And because of that, she becomes a woman no one forgets. So if you want to be truly attractive, start with you. Nourish your mind. Strengthen your body. Guard your heart. Feed your soul. Make your life so rich, so fulfilling, that anyone who enters it must come with the same energy, or not at all. Because a woman who takes care of herself doesn't just glow. She becomes untouchable. Number 5. Having passion and clear life goals. There is something undeniably powerful about a woman who knows where she is going. She doesn't wander aimlessly. She doesn't live each day just to survive. Instead, she moves with intention. She has dreams that light her up, goals that keep her grounded, and a passion that drives her forward, no matter what obstacles stand in her way. That focus, that inner fire, is magnetic. A woman with passion doesn't need to explain herself. You can see it in her eyes, feel it in her energy, and hear it in her voice when she talks about what matters to her. She becomes captivating not because she is trying to impress anyone, but because she is fully alive. Her goals are not just checkboxes, they are reflections of her deeper values and vision. Men are naturally drawn to women who are passionate about something beyond love. It could be a career, a cause, an art form, or a dream. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's real. That kind of woman brings a different kind of energy into a relationship. She doesn't wait for a man to bring meaning into her life. She brings her own meaning. And that makes all the difference. Having goals gives her a sense of purpose. She wakes up with direction. She makes decisions that align with her vision. She doesn't get lost in temporary emotions or distractions. Even when she falls, she gets back up, not because life is easy, but because her purpose is bigger than her pain. That resilience is incredibly attractive. It shows strength, discipline, and character. This doesn't mean she's always serious or rigid. In fact, her passion makes her more joyful. Because when you're doing what you love or working towards something that matters, you radiate a different kind of light. It's the light of someone who is fulfilled from within. That kind of fulfillment can't be faked. And when others witness it, they can't help but be drawn in. Clear life goals also reflect self-respect. A woman who sets goals for herself is telling the world, I value my time, my potential, and my future. She's not drifting. She's building. She's not settling. She's striving. She knows what she wants, and she's not afraid to go after it, even if that means walking alone for a while. Men who are emotionally mature admire this. They want a partner, not a project. They are inspired by women who challenge them, not through demands, but through example. A woman with goals invites a man to grow with her, not just sit beside her. She doesn't need him to lead, but if he chooses to walk with her, he must walk with purpose too. Passion also brings depth. It makes conversations more interesting. It creates shared dreams and visions. When a woman has a purpose, she becomes more than just a romantic partner, she becomes a force. And men feel that. They may not always articulate it, but they sense that being with her is not about comfort alone, it's about growth. A woman with clear goals doesn't let love derail her. She knows how to balance her heart and her mission. She doesn't disappear into relationships. She doesn't abandon herself to please someone else. Instead, she continues to show up for her dreams, while making space for someone who truly supports them. That's another layer of attraction, standards. A woman with goals doesn't say yes to just anyone. She's not impressed by superficial charm or temporary attention. She looks for alignment. She evaluates whether someone adds to her life or distracts from it. Because she knows exactly where she's going, and she's not willing to take detours that lead nowhere. Her passion also brings out the best in her. It pushes her to keep learning, evolving, and improving. She's not afraid of challenges, because she knows they are part of the journey. She embraces discomfort when it leads to growth. And that courage, that relentless pursuit of better, is beautiful to witness. There's also a deep sense of fulfillment that comes from living with purpose. It's not always glamorous. It often requires discipline, sacrifice, and solitude. But it's real. And in a world filled with distractions, a woman who chooses to stay focused stands out. She becomes rare, not because she's trying to be, but because so few dare to live with that kind of intentionality. Men notice that. They may be surrounded by women who chase love, status, or validation, but when they meet a woman who chases her purpose, it changes the game. She's not trying to be chosen. She's already chosen herself. And when she chooses a man, it's not out of need, it's out of alignment. So if you want to be deeply attractive, not just physically, but soulfully, find your passion. Define your goals. Create a vision that excites you. Become the woman who wakes up every day knowing she's building something meaningful. That kind of woman doesn't just attract love. She attracts respect. She inspires admiration. And she becomes unforgettable. Because at the end of the day, beauty fades, chemistry fluctuates, but purpose endures. And when you live with purpose, everything you touch becomes more valuable. Number 6. Knowing when to let go, not controlling or clinging. There is a quiet strength in the woman who knows when to let go. Not because she doesn't care. Not because she gives up easily. But because she understands something many never learn: the more you try to control love, the more it slips away. True attraction, true connection, cannot be forced. It has to flow. And only those who have mastered the art of release can ever experience it fully. Letting go doesn't mean you stop loving. It means you stop holding on so tightly that the very thing you're trying to protect begins to suffocate. It means you allow space, for yourself, for the other person, and for the relationship to breathe and evolve naturally. And that space is where trust, respect, and desire begin to grow. A woman who refuses to control or cling is deeply attractive. She trusts herself enough to know that if something is meant for her, it will remain. She doesn't chase. She doesn't beg. She doesn't manipulate the outcome. Instead, she observes, she listens, and she lets things unfold with grace. That level of emotional maturity is rare, and men feel it the moment they're around her. This doesn't mean she's detached or indifferent. In fact, she can love with depth, vulnerability, and passion. But her love is not tied to possession. It's not about controlling someone's actions or feelings. She loves from a place of freedom, not fear. And because of that, her love feels like peace, not pressure. Clinging, on the other hand, comes from insecurity. It's the fear of being alone. It's the belief that without someone else, we lose our value. But a woman who knows how to let go understands that her worth is not dependent on who stays or who leaves. She carries herself with dignity even when her heart is breaking. And that dignity becomes her strength. There's an incredible power in walking away when your boundaries are crossed. In saying no when something doesn't feel right. In choosing yourself over begging for crumbs of affection. A woman who lets go at the right time sends a clear message: I would love to have you in my life, but I don't need you to feel whole. That message is more compelling than any desperate plea could ever be. Men are drawn to women who give them the space to be themselves. Who don't demand constant reassurance or control their every move. When a man feels trusted, he feels respected. And respect creates a deeper bond than pressure ever could. A woman who lets go of the need to control gives him the freedom to choose her every day. And that choice is far more meaningful than obligation. Letting go also means letting go of expectations. It means accepting that people may not always act the way you want, and that love may not always look the way you imagined. A woman who accepts this truth becomes more flexible, more open, and more at peace. She doesn't waste energy trying to force things. Instead, she flows with life, trusting that what's meant for her will never require her to fight for basic respect or consistency. This kind of surrender isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It comes from experience, reflection, and a deep understanding of self-worth. It's the recognition that clinging creates fear, but letting go creates clarity. When you stop trying to control everything, you begin to see what's real. You begin to see who truly values you, and who only stayed because you were trying too hard to keep them. Letting go is also about emotional detachment, not from love, but from outcome. It means you can care deeply, but not be destroyed by disappointment. You can invest in someone, but not lose yourself in the process. You can desire connection, but not fear solitude. That inner stability is what makes a woman truly unshakable. In relationships, this ability is a game changer. A woman who doesn't cling doesn't provoke drama. She doesn't create emotional chaos. She brings calm. She brings clarity. She knows when to speak, when to step back, and when to walk away. She trusts the process. And because of that, she never loses her peace, regardless of the outcome. Men respect women who know their worth. But they are enchanted by women who can love without attachment. It makes them feel free, yet chosen. It makes them want to stay, not because they have to, but because they want to. That's the difference between control and connection. One repels. The other invites. So if you want to be truly captivating, learn to release your grip. Let go of the need to define, to predict, to guarantee. Let go of trying to make someone love you in a certain way. Love them as they are, or let them go. And love yourself enough to never settle for less than you deserve. Because when a woman lets go at the right moment, she becomes unforgettable. Not because she stayed, but because she knew when to leave, with grace, with dignity, and with her head held high. And that is a beauty no one can deny. Conclusion. True attraction doesn't come from how beautiful you look or how sweetly you speak. It comes from your inner energy, your quiet confidence, your mysterious presence, your graceful communication, your independence, your passion, and above all, your ability to let go when necessary. These 6 qualities don't just make you more appealing to men, they make you unforgettable. A mature man isn't captivated by surface-level charm. He's drawn to depth. He's intrigued by a woman who knows her worth, lives with purpose, and doesn't seek validation to feel whole. When you stop trying to impress and start living in alignment with your true self, that's when your natural magnetism begins to shine. You don't need to change who you are to be loved. You only need to become the most authentic, powerful, and loving version of yourself. When your light comes from within, the right people will be drawn to it, without force, without chase, without pretending. Remember, real attraction isn't something you perform. It's something you embody. When you know how to hold your boundaries, follow your dreams, love with grace, and release what doesn't serve you, you become a woman of rare presence. And presence is more powerful than perfection. In the end, being attractive isn't about being chosen. It's about choosing yourself, fully, fiercely, and without apology. And when you do, the kind of love you've been waiting for will no longer feel like a distant dream. It will feel like something that naturally finds you, because you finally found yourself. Thank you for taking the time to watch today's video. I hope you found some useful lessons about love and relationships. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. I appreciate your support and will continue to bring valuable content in future videos. Please continue to join me on my journey to learn about love and relationships. See you soon, and I wish you happiness.